So today we're going to finish the fall semester review, questions 46 through 71, so pay attention. I'll be giving hints and tips throughout the video of things that can help you on your semester exam. Question 46 has a few different parts, so we are going to start with part A. But we need to read the first part of it and underline and highlight important things. So Mr. Hawkins wants to make sure that his store is stocked with enough equipment for all the community sports. He surveys 240 of his customers and asks them to choose the one sport they're most likely to buy equipment for. So I would underline that 140 because that's how many total customers there are. So the first question, and you can see in the table the percent of the responses. So the first question says, how many of his customers will need baseball equipment? So we remember that we can do the part over whole equals percent out of 100. So for this problem, we have the whole, that's 240 people were asked, and it's always out of 100. And our percent is 20%. So some of you can see that 100 can go to 240. If not, think about that you can simplify both of them, not by 2, sorry, by 10. Divide both of them by 10 and you get 2 tenths. Then to get from 10 to 240, you would multiply by 24. So then I would do 2 times 24, which gives me 48. So 48 people chose baseball for this problem. Okay, question B is still part of number 46. So it is looking at how many customers will need wrestling equipment. So for this problem, once again, we have our 240 is the whole amount. So we have 240 is the whole. We have 100 as our percent. And we have 15% for wrestling that I found right here. So once again, we can simplify this by dividing them. This one we can't divide by 2. So you should be able to see to get from 100 to 240. If you're not sure, just come over to the side and divide it. What can I multiply 100 by to get 240? Well, 2 will go in there at least 200 times, or 2 will go and give us 200. Just add your decimal, and you'll see that it works as 2.4. So we can multiply this by 2.4. That means we can also multiply 15 by 2.4. So 15 times the 2 and 4 tenths gives you 20, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus the 2 is 6, placeholder. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus that 1 is 3. So you have 360, but we have one decimal place, so that would be 36. So 36 people chose wrestling. Okay, question part C, we are looking at for football equipment. So we see the football equipment is 35%. This one I'm going to show you another way you can work these. Remember, we talked about if you have the whole, you can actually multiply the whole by the percent by changing it to a decimal. So 35% as a decimal would be 35 hundredths. So we can do the 240 total times the 35 hundredths and get our answer. So 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 12, don't forget your placeholder, 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 4 is 12, carry your 1 this time, and 3 times 2 is 6 plus the 1. 0, 0, 4, 8. But we have 2 decimal places, so that tells me 84 people chose football. Okay, and the last one for question 46. How many customers will need basketball equipment? So for this one, I'm actually going to do the 240 over 30% out of 100 again, and simplify this to 3 tenths by dividing both of these by 10, because then I can multiply this by 24 and then just do 3 times 24 to get my answer. So you have several different methods for solving all these percents problems, and I know it can get overwhelming. So you just need to choose which one works best for you and stick with it. So I multiplied the 24 times 3 and I got 72 for the answer for basketball. Okay, question 47 is one of my favorite problems because I love double number lines. I actually was never taught about a double number line when I was in school, so as a teacher, I think it's a great tool to use when you're finding percent problems. So we need to read the story first. Mr. Hawkins is going to put his golf equipment on sale at the end of the summer. A set of junior golf clubs at Action Sporting costs $180, so that $180 is important. Use the double number line to represent the discount available for each. So if there is 0% discount, you will get $0 off. If there is 100% discount, you will get $180. I always start with my 0 and 100 to help me figure out the rest. So what I know is that to get from 100% to 10%, I can divide by 10. So I would do the same thing for 180. Divided by 10 gives me 18. So for 10%, it's $18. Well, this helps you for the whole rest of the one, because to get from 10% to 20, I would just multiply by 2. So 18 times 2 is 36. And I can continue to do that. 10 times 3 is 30, so I would do 18 times 3, which gives me 54. Same thing, 10 times 4, so I can do 18 times 4. Which 32, so that gives me 72, and so on and so on. So then 18 times 5 would give me 90. 18 times 6, so 48 gives me 108. Okay, and then you have 18 times 7. Okay, and you should see, okay, well, I keep multiplying by 18, which is the same thing as adding 18. So this would be 126. Because you get 56, carry your 5, yep, gives us 126. 18 times 8, okay, 64, so that would be 144. And then 18 times 9 is 72. Gives me 162. Okay, and you can simply do that for every single percent problem if you have a double number line. Okay, question number 48. At Union Middle School, 55 girls, or 22% of the girls play basketball. How many girls attend Union Middle School? So once again, you should be thinking part over whole equals percent out of 100. So this time they're giving us the part because not every girl is going to play basketball. So that's 55. We're trying to find the whole. We know 22% out of 100. Well, 22 does not go easily to 55. So we're going to step back and we are going to simplify this. Divide by 2, which gives us 11 50ths. Now I can go from 11 to 55 by multiplying by 5. So I'm going to do 50 times 5, which gives me 250 students are at Union Middle School, or girls are at Union Middle School. Okay, I'm actually going to ask you to skip question 49. I wouldn't worry about it. You're not going to be tested on discount. You're going to go further into this in 7th grade, and they will test you in 7th grade on question 49 and 50. We're also going to skip question 50. Okay, we are on question number 51 because we are skipping 49 and 50. So when you see these type of problems, you should think in your head about order of operations. So write your little cheat sheet off to the side. It's not a cheat sheet because you have it memorized to help us. So for 51, there's no parentheses, so we don't need to worry about that. There's no exponents, but we do have multiplication, so we need to take care of that first. So we're going to take care of the 3 times 5, which gives us 15. Okay, so we have no multiplication, so we have adding and subtracting, and those go left to right. So 4 plus 15 is 19, and then you can do 19 minus 12, which is 7. So the answer for 51 is 7. Okay, 52 is also in order of operations, so I'm going to rewrite our PEMDAS off to the side. So first things, no parentheses, no exponents, so multiplying and dividing. So we have 56 divided by 8 is the first thing because it goes left to right. So this is 7 plus 3 times 6, We still have multiplication, so we need to do the 3 times 6. So 7 plus 18. And now we can add, which gives us 7 plus 18 gives us 25. Okay, question 53. Also another very long, actually. PEMDAS, that's a horrible E. Let's try this again. There we go. Question, so no parentheses, no exponents. We do have multiplication and division, left to right. Please remember that. Write down each step to make sure you are working it right. 9 times 8 is going to give me 72 minus 29 plus 30 divided by 15 minus 15. Okay, so I still have division, so we're not done. So 72 minus 29 plus 2 minus 15. Okay, and then we have adding and subtracting goes left to right, so we have a lot to do. We have 72 minus 29, so we're going to come over here, borrow. So this is 3, and this becomes 4, so we have 43 plus 2 minus 15, which 45 minus 15, the final answer would be 30. Finally, we have some parentheses and exponents with these order of operations problems. So once again, notice every time I see a problem, I'm writing this down to help me remember. So we do have parentheses. So once you go inside parentheses, you start over with order of operations. So I'm looking inside this parentheses right here, and I would do exponents first. Notice I'm rewriting my parentheses because I'm not done with them. So 4 to the second power, this right here means 4 times 4, which is 16. Close the parentheses, plus 2, parentheses divided by 5. So then we would still do the innermost parentheses, so we're going to take care of this. 3 times 16 is going to give me 48 plus 2, parentheses divided by 5. So this gives me 50 divided by 5. So we're finally done with our parentheses. We have no more exponents. We have multiplication division left, which gives us 10. So your answer for this problem is 10. Okay, last order of operations problem is number 55. So we have, once again, I'm writing our helpful tips. So we have parentheses, so we need to do the thing in the parentheses first. So we are going to take care of this. And then we have 2 squared, which means 2 times 2, which is 4. So we have 29 minus parentheses 4 plus 7. We're still in parentheses, so we now need to add what's in the parentheses, which gives us 11. So parentheses are taken care of, no more exponents, no multiplying and dividing, so we can subtract, which gives us 18. Okay, questions 56 and 57 are using expressions, and you are completing the table from the expression, which these should look very similar to what we did on the last test. So we are plugging in for D. So we're going to start with 27, so this would be like 27 minus 5, which is 22, 44 minus 5, which is 39, 55 minus 5, which is 50, and then 90 minus 5, which is 85. Okay, same thing here, you're just plugging in, so 9 plus 13, 22, 17 plus 13, 30, 25 plus 13, 38, and 58 plus 13 is going to be 71. So 58 and 59 are also evaluating expressions. Once again, we're just plugging in. So remember, when you see a fraction like this, m over 3, this means the same thing as m divided by 3. So if I plug this in, I have 18 divided by 3, which gives you 6. Same thing, 36 divided by 3, which gives you 12. And then you have 6 and 9/10 divided by 3, which if you think about this, 6 divided by 3 is 2, add your decimal, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 2 and 3/10, and then 0 divided by 3 is 0, because you can't divide 0 up. So remember, this means 7 times n. So this would be 7 times 2, which is 14, 7 times 7, which is 49, 7 times 11, which is 77, and then 7 times 15, which gives me 105. Question 60, we are talking about rollerblading, and the first question is, what are the two variables? So the variables are the things that are changing in the story. So if you look in the table, you can see that the minutes and the cost are changing. So your two variables are minutes and cost. Now the question is, what is the independent variable? Well, let me give you a big tip. Hint, hint. Please know this. Independent variable, if there is time involved, time will always be independent because one, you can't stop it. And money always is about the time. Or at least that's what my husband says. Time is money. So your independent variable is time in this one, which is the minutes. Okay, and your dependent variable is the money. Money is always dependent. Money does not technically it does not grow on trees, even though they are made of trees. Okay, but money always depends on how much time you spend doing something. So money is always going to be your dependent cost. Okay, on 61, they are wanting us to write an expression. So you have a coupon for $5 off your total bill. So when you see the word off, that should mean subtraction should be ringing in your head. Okay, Mama's Meals on Main. Let B represent the amount of your total bill, and P represent the total amount you will pay after the coupon. So B is your bill. Well, you're getting $5 off your bill, so that's subtracting by 5, which is going to give us our final total, which is P. So B minus 5 equals P for this problem. So in question 62, we are also writing an equation. So private swimming lessons cost $35 per hour. Let N represent the number of swimming lessons you take, and S represent the total. Well, we've talked about this per hour, so that means for every hour. So you think about this, $35 for 1 hour, $35 for 2 hours. What would I do for each hour? Well, I would multiply to figure out the hours. So we can say this is 35N, or you can say 35 times N. Okay, and then it says to use S to represent the total. Well, once I multiply these, I'm going to get the total. So it's equals S. Okay, so we have 63. You have 84 favors to divide equally. Oh, it just tells you right there what you're doing. In gift bags for your party's guests, let G represent the number of guests for the party, and F is the total. Well, it told you you're dividing. So this one's easy. You're going to do 84 divided by your number of guests equals the total favors each gift bag will be in each gift bag. Okay, for 64, you have already read 2.5 hours for the readathon. Let H represent the number of additional hours you read, and T represent the total number. So additional, that should tell you to add. So you've read 2.5, plus you're going to read some more, adding, equals T, your total amount. And last, number 65, your school has 12 tables for students to eat at lunch. Let S represent the number of students in the lunchroom, and N represent the number of students at each table. Well, if you think about our cafeteria, people divide into the tables. Same thing, our total number of students divided by the number of tables, which in this case is 12, equals the number of students at each table. Okay, for questions 66 and 67, they asked you for the prime factorization of 88 and 108. So we can use our prime factorization tree for 88. We could say 2 and 44. We can break 44 down into 4 and 11, and 2's prime, 11's prime. 4 can be broken down into 2 and 2. So I would write this as 2 times 2 times 2 times 11, which can be simplified or written in an equivalent expression as 2 to the third power times 11, because I have 3 of these. That's why it's to the third power. Okay, same thing for 108. If you're not sure what to break 108 into, just divide it by 2, which gives you 54. And then 54 can be broken down into 9 and 6. And neither of those are prime, but 3 is prime for 9. And then 6 can be broken down to 2 and 3. So those are also prime. So this one is like saying 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. So this would be 2 to the second power times 3 to the third power. Okay, question 68 is a multiple choice question. So it says, which set of fractions is in order from least to greatest? So the first thing I would notice is I would look at what are my choices. So I see that A and B both have 3/8 first. And C and D have 11/20 and 5/6 first. Well, I know 5/6 is really close to a whole. So I know C cannot be the answer because this is close to 1 and all the others are not close to 1. So, and then I also know that 11/20 is close to half. It's more than half actually, which is greater than 3/8. So I know that D cannot be the answer. So I've already narrowed it down to A and B. So next I'm looking at, well, 5/6 is close to a whole, so that's 1, where 7/16 is close to a half. So 7/16 is less than this whole, so A can't be the answer, B is your answer. So a lot of these problems, you don't have to work out a lot of the things. You can think through it and pick the correct answer. Okay, question 69. Tamara is making a large omelet that needs half a cup of chopped tomatoes, but she only has a 1/8 measuring cup. How many times should Tamara fill the measuring cup? So if you think about it, just actually think about 1/8. So here's my 1/8 cup. There we go. So 1/8 is not the same thing as a half, so one of these is not going to make a half of a cup. Okay, so let's say I add another 1/8. So this would be 2 times. Well, 1/8 plus 1/8 is 2/8, which simplifies to 1/4. So 2 did not work. So then let's try adding some more. Well, I don't have 3, but I do have 4 here. So let's try 4. So I'm going to add 1/8 4 times. This gives me 4/8, which I know if I divide both by 4 gives me a half, which is what I'm looking for. So C is the correct answer. Okay, question 70. Which list shows the reciprocals of 2/3? So reciprocal means the number that is the opposite of the fraction that when I multiply them gives me 1. So really this just means, quick terminology, flip. So this one, no, A doesn't even make sense. Neither does C, so those two should be your automatic marks off. But you see that if you flip 2/3, that gives you 3/2. If you flip 3/6, that gives you 6/3. Same thing for 12/4 and 20/50. So B is the correct answer. You do not need to make them improper or make them proper because that's not what we use the reciprocal for. So D is also it's the reciprocal, but making the reciprocal proper, and we do not need to do that for the reciprocal. Okay, question 71. Miss Gooden feeds stray cats in the park every evening. She never knows how many cats will come to feed. The food is always shared equally. Oh, shared equally. Think about dividing. Among the cats. One evening, when 6 cups of cat food were shared, each cat received 2/3 of a cup. So how many cats could she feed? Were fed. So you could think of this 6 cups divided by the 2/3 because that's how many they're sharing. So 6 over 1 times 3/2, because you do copy, dot, your flip, gives me 18/2, which is 9 cats. So she fed 9 cats. And if you're not sure, if you don't remember to do that, well, you can easily go, well, 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3, that gives you 6/3, which is 2 cups. Well, I need 6 cups. So you think about that's, if I did this 2 more times, so that would be 1, 2, 3, I need 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, this is the end of the fall semester review tutorial, so good luck on your test. I hope you do awesome. And if you have any questions, come see us in tutorials. And don't forget to study, 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 and study some more.